Hey there, friend. Come on in and get comfortable. I want to have a heart-to-heart chat with you today about something that might just change how you feel every single day. You know, I was talking to my neighbor Margaret last week. She's 67, and she said something that really stuck with me. She said, "I just don't feel like myself anymore. I'm tired all the time, my brain feels foggy, and I keep thinking, is this just what getting older feels like?" And I thought, what if I told you that Margaret's story doesn't have to be your story? What if those feelings of constant fatigue, that mental fog, those aches and pains, what if they're not just part of aging, but actually signs that your body is crying out for help? Here's what most people don't realize. After 60, your body becomes like a vintage car. It's still beautiful, still capable of amazing things, but it needs different care than it used to. And just like that classic car needs premium fuel and special attention, your body needs specific nutrients that become harder and harder to get as the years go by. Today, I'm going to introduce you to 3 nutritional superheroes. Think of them as your body's pit crew. They're vitamin B12, vitamin D, and magnesium. And I promise you, by the end of our time together, you'll understand exactly why these 3 could be the key to getting your energy, your clarity, and your vitality back. Now, before we dive in, let me share some eye-opening facts that'll show you just how common these deficiencies really are. Up to 30% of adults over 50 have a condition that makes it nearly impossible to absorb vitamin B12 from food. Over 75% of older adults in places like Canada, northern United States, and Europe are deficient in vitamin D. And here's the kicker. About 60% of adults worldwide don't get enough magnesium. Think about that for a second. If you're in a room with 10 people your age, chances are at least 6 of you are walking around with nutrient deficiencies that could be making you feel decades older than you actually are. But here's the hopeful part, and this is why I'm so excited to share this with you. These deficiencies are fixable, completely fixable. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's start with the first of our 3 heroes. I like to call vitamin B12 the brain and blood booster. And once you understand what it does, you'll see why it's absolutely crucial for feeling like yourself again. All right. Let's talk about vitamin B12. Now, I want you to imagine your body as a bustling city. In this city, vitamin B12 is like the head of 3 crucial departments all at once. First, it's the chief of the blood bank. B12 helps your body make healthy red blood cells. Think of these as tiny delivery trucks carrying oxygen to every corner of your body. Without enough B12, these trucks become misshapen and can't carry their cargo properly. That's when you start feeling tired and weak. Second, B12 is the head of the communications department, your nervous system. It keeps the protective coating around your nerves healthy. Imagine your nerves are like electrical wires, and B12 maintains the insulation. When that insulation starts to break down, you get those weird tingles in your hands and feet, maybe some numbness. Sound familiar? And third, and this one's fascinating, B12 is like the head librarian in charge of your genetic library. It helps with DNA synthesis, basically helping your cells make perfect copies of themselves. Pretty amazing for one little vitamin, right? Now, here's where it gets tricky. And this is the part that many doctors don't explain clearly enough. As we get older, our stomachs produce less acid. I know, you're probably thinking, less acid sounds like a good thing. But when it comes to B12, stomach acid is your friend. Think of it like this. B12 in food is like a precious gem that's locked in a safe. Your stomach acid is the key that opens that safe so your body can actually use the gem. Less acid means less key turning power, which means less B12 gets absorbed. There's actually a name for this condition. It's called atrophic gastritis. Sounds scary, but it just means your stomach lining has thinned out a bit. And get this, up to 30% of people over 50 have it. That's nearly 1 in 3. Now let me tell you about someone I know who discovered this the hard way. Her name is Evelyn, and at 72, she thought she was just getting old. She'd wake up tired, go to bed tired, and spend the day feeling like she was walking through molasses. Evelyn started having trouble with her hands. They'd go numb while she was gardening, which was her absolute favorite thing in the world. She even started forgetting things, which scared her. Her family kept saying, "Well, Mom, you're in your 70s now." But Evelyn had a smart doctor who didn't just accept getting older as an explanation. She ran some blood tests and found that Evelyn's B12 levels were dangerously low. The solution? B12 injections. And you know what happened? Within 6 weeks, Evelyn felt like she'd gotten her life back. The brain fog lifted, the numbness went away, and she was back out in her garden, hands deep in the soil, feeling like herself again. So how do you know if you might need more B12? Here are the signs to watch for. Feeling tired, even after a good night's sleep. That annoying brain fog or trouble concentrating. Tingling or numbness in your hands and feet. Feeling weak or dizzy. Memory problems that seem to be getting worse. Now, you might be wondering, can't I just eat more B12-rich foods? And that's a great question. You can find B12 in eggs, dairy products, fish, and fortified cereals. But remember our safe and key analogy. If your stomach can't unlock the B12 from food, eating more won't necessarily help. This is why many people over 60 need supplements. Some people do well with oral B12 supplements. These work because they contain such high doses that even if you only absorb a tiny percentage, you still get enough. Others, like Evelyn, need injections or sublingual tablets that dissolve under your tongue. But here's what I want you to remember. Don't guess about this. B12 deficiency can be serious if it goes on too long. The nerve damage can become permanent. So if any of those symptoms sound familiar, talk to your doctor about getting your B12 levels checked. It's a simple blood test, and it could change your life. Now, while B12 is busy taking care of your blood and brain, there's another vitamin that's absolutely crucial for your bones, your muscles, and believe it or not, your mood. Let's talk about the sunshine vitamin, vitamin D. If B12 is the head of multiple departments in our body city, then vitamin D is like the mayor. It has influence over almost everything that happens. Most people know that vitamin D is important for bones. But what many don't realize is that it's also crucial for your immune system, your muscles, and even your mood. It's like having a really good mayor who doesn't just focus on one issue, but makes sure the whole city runs smoothly. Now, here's the fascinating part about how we get vitamin D. Your skin is like a little factory. When sunlight hits it, specifically UVB rays, your skin cells get to work manufacturing vitamin D. It's like having a solar panel on your roof that powers your house. But here's the problem. As we age, our skin factory becomes less efficient. Think of it like an old solar panel that's gotten covered with dust and grime over the years. It still works, but it doesn't produce nearly as much power as it used to. And if you live somewhere with long winters, or if you spend most of your time indoors, or if you're really good about using sunscreen, well, your solar panel isn't getting much sun to work with in the first place. This is why that statistic I mentioned earlier is so shocking. Over 75% of older adults in northern climates are deficient in vitamin D. 3 out of every 4 people. Let me tell you about David. He's 68, lives in Minnesota, and used to love his daily walks. But a few winters ago, he started feeling off. He described it as feeling like he was carrying invisible weights. His muscles felt weak, his mood was low, and those walks he loved became a chore. David's wife finally convinced him to see a doctor, who ran a bunch of tests. His vitamin D level was severely low, and I mean severely. The doctor said it was like his body had been running on empty for months. After 3 months of vitamin D supplementation, David told me he felt like someone had lifted those invisible weights off his shoulders. His energy came back, his mood improved, and he was back to enjoying his morning walks. He even started taking longer routes. So what exactly does vitamin D do that makes such a difference? Let me break it down in simple terms. First, it's your bone's best friend. It helps your body absorb calcium from food. Without enough vitamin D, you could be drinking milk all day long, but your bones won't get the calcium they need. It's like having a locked door between the calcium and your bones, and vitamin D is the key. Second, it's a major player in your immune system. Think of vitamin D as a coach for your immune cells, helping them know when to fight infections and when to calm down. Without enough of this coach, your immune system can get confused. Third, it helps your muscles work properly. Vitamin D receptors are found in muscle tissue, and when you don't have enough, your muscles can become weak and achy. That's why David felt like he was carrying invisible weights. And fourth, and this one surprises a lot of people, vitamin D affects your mood. There's a reason why people get the winter blues in places with long, dark winters. Your brain needs vitamin D to make certain neurotransmitters that keep you feeling balanced and positive. Now, how do you know if you might be low in vitamin D? Here are the signs: bone pain or frequent fractures, getting sick more often than usual, feeling down or depressed, especially in winter, muscle weakness or aches, fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, hair loss, slow wound healing. The tricky thing is, these symptoms develop slowly, so you might not even notice them at first. You might just think, I guess I'm getting older, when really, your body is trying to tell you something important. Now, can you get vitamin D from food? A little bit. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel are good sources. Some dairy products and cereals are fortified with it. But here's the reality. It's really hard to get enough vitamin D from food alone, especially if your skin factory isn't working as well as it used to. This is why supplementation often makes sense for people over 60. But, and this is important, you want to work with your doctor on this one. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means your body stores it. Too much can actually be harmful. It's like Goldilocks. You want just the right amount, not too little, not too much. Most doctors recommend vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, rather than D2, because D3 is more effective at raising your blood levels. The typical dose for older adults is anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 IU per day. But your doctor should determine what's right for you based on your blood test results. So we've covered B12 for your blood and brain, and vitamin D for your bones, muscles, and mood. Now let's talk about something that most people have never heard of, but that's absolutely crucial for feeling energetic and vital. Let me introduce you to magnesium, the mineral that I like to call your body's relaxation and energy specialist. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, didn't you say we were talking about 3 vitamins? Magnesium isn't a vitamin. And you're absolutely right. Magnesium is a mineral. But it's so important and works so closely with vitamins that I had to include it in our conversation today. Think of magnesium as the ultimate multitasker in your body. If your body were a symphony orchestra, magnesium would be the conductor, making sure over 300 different biological processes all work together in harmony. That's not an exaggeration. Scientists have identified more than 300 enzymatic reactions that require magnesium to function properly. But here's what makes magnesium so special for people over 60. It's absolutely essential for energy production. Remember how I said your body is like a city? Well, magnesium is like the power grid manager, making sure energy gets delivered to every neighborhood. Here's how it works. Inside every cell in your body, there are tiny power plants called mitochondria. These little power plants take the food you eat and turn it into energy currency called ATP. Think of ATP as the coins your body uses to pay for everything. Muscle contractions, brain thoughts, heartbeats, everything. Magnesium is absolutely crucial for this energy-making process. Without enough magnesium, it's like having a power plant with faulty equipment. It can't produce energy efficiently. That's when you start feeling tired, even when you're getting enough sleep and eating well. But magnesium doesn't stop there. It's also your body's natural relaxation specialist. It helps your muscles relax after they contract. It calms your nervous system, and it even helps regulate your sleep cycles. I like to think of magnesium as the yin to calcium's yang. Calcium makes your muscles contract. Magnesium helps them relax. Calcium can make you feel alert. Magnesium helps you feel calm. Your body needs both, but they need to be in balance. Let me tell you about Sarah, who's 65. For months, Sarah was having trouble sleeping. She'd fall asleep okay, but she'd wake up multiple times during the night with leg cramps. During the day, she felt tired and irritable, which wasn't like her at all. Sarah thought maybe she needed to exercise more, or change her mattress, or try those sleep apps everyone talks about. But when she mentioned the leg cramps to her doctor, the doctor suggested checking her magnesium levels. Turns out, Sarah was deficient. Her doctor recommended magnesium glycinate. That's a form of magnesium that's easy on the stomach and well absorbed. Within 3 weeks, Sarah was sleeping through the night. The leg cramps were gone, and she woke up feeling refreshed for the first time in months. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Approximately 60% of adults don't get enough magnesium. That's more than half of all adults, not just older adults. But the problem gets worse as we age because our absorption decreases, and many medications can deplete magnesium levels. So, how do you know if you might need more magnesium? Here are the signs to watch for. Muscle cramps, especially at night. Trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Feeling tired even after sleeping. Muscle twitches or spasms. Restless legs. Feeling anxious or on edge. Headaches. Irregular heartbeat. The challenge with magnesium deficiency is that the symptoms are pretty vague. You might just think you're stressed or not sleeping well, when really your body is crying out for this essential mineral. Now you can get magnesium from food. Dark leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard are excellent sources. So are nuts and seeds, especially pumpkin seeds and almonds. Whole grains, legumes, and even dark chocolate contain magnesium. But here's the thing. Our food supply contains less magnesium than it used to. Modern farming practices have depleted the soil, which means the plants we eat contain less magnesium than they did 50 years ago. Plus, food processing removes magnesium, so the more processed your diet, the less magnesium you're getting. This is why many people, especially those over 60, benefit from magnesium supplementation. But not all magnesium supplements are created equal. Some forms, like magnesium oxide, are poorly absorbed and can cause digestive upset. Better forms include magnesium glycinate, citrate, or malate. Magnesium glycinate is often recommended because it's gentle on the stomach and has a calming effect. Perfect if you're taking it to help with sleep. Magnesium citrate is well absorbed and can help with constipation, which is common in older adults. Magnesium malate may be especially good for energy production. The typical dose ranges from 200 to 400 milliliters per day. But as always, it's best to work with your healthcare provider to determine what's right for you. They can check your magnesium levels and make sure supplementation won't interfere with any medications you're taking. So there you have it, our 3 nutritional superheroes: B12 for your blood and brain, vitamin D for your bones, muscles, and mood, and magnesium for energy production and relaxation. But before we wrap up, let me give you some practical steps you can take starting today. Well, my friends, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned, because I want to make sure you walk away from this conversation with clear, actionable information. We started by talking about vitamin B12, your blood and brain booster. Remember, this is the vitamin that helps make healthy red blood cells, keeps your nerves working properly, and helps with DNA synthesis. The challenge is that as we age, our stomachs produce less acid, making it harder to absorb B12 from food. Up to 30% of people over 50 have this problem. We learned about Evelyn, who thought her fatigue and numbness were just signs of aging, but they were actually signs of B12 deficiency. Once she started getting B12 injections, she felt like herself again. Then we talked about vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin that does so much more than just support bone health. It's crucial for your immune system, muscle function, and even your mood. But our skin becomes less efficient at making vitamin D as we age, and over 75% of older adults in northern climates are deficient. We heard David's story, how vitamin D deficiency made him feel like he was carrying invisible weights, and how supplementation gave him his energy and his beloved walks back. Finally, we discussed magnesium, the ultimate multitasker that's involved in over 300 biological processes. It's essential for energy production and muscle relaxation, but about 60% of adults don't get enough. Sarah's story showed us how magnesium deficiency can disrupt sleep and cause muscle cramps, and how the right supplement can make all the difference. Now, here's what I want you to understand. If you've been feeling tired, foggy, achy, or just not like yourself, it's not necessarily just aging. Your body might be trying to tell you something important. These deficiencies are incredibly common, but they're also incredibly treatable. So here's what I want you to do. Step 1. Don't try to diagnose yourself. Make an appointment with your doctor and ask them to check your levels of B12, vitamin D, and magnesium. These are simple blood tests, and many doctors are happy to run them as part of routine care for older adults. Step 2. Be honest about your symptoms. Don't dismiss them as just getting older. If you're experiencing fatigue, brain fog, muscle weakness, mood changes, or any of the other symptoms we discussed, tell your doctor. Write them down beforehand so you don't forget anything. Step 3. If you do have deficiencies, work with your healthcare provider to develop a supplementation plan that's right for you. Don't just grab random supplements off the shelf. Dosing matters, and some supplements can interact with medications. Step 4. Be patient but persistent. Some people feel better within weeks of starting supplementation, but for others, it can take a few months to notice significant changes. Your body didn't become deficient overnight, and it won't bounce back overnight either. Step 5. Don't forget about food sources. While supplementation might be necessary, try to include foods rich in these nutrients in your diet too. Variety is always good for your body. Here's what I want you to remember most of all. You deserve to feel energetic, clear-minded, and vital, regardless of your age. These nutrients we've talked about today could be the key to getting back to feeling like yourself again. I've seen too many people accept fatigue, weakness, and brain fog as inevitable parts of aging, when really they were dealing with treatable deficiencies. Don't let that be your story. You have the power to take charge of your health and your energy. Start with that conversation with your doctor. Get those blood tests. And if you do have deficiencies, celebrate the fact that you've found something fixable. If this information has been helpful to you, I'd love for you to share it with someone else who might benefit. Maybe it's a friend who's been complaining about feeling tired all the time, or a family member who seems to have lost their spark. Knowledge is power, and sharing knowledge is caring. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope I've given you some valuable insights and, more importantly, some hope. You don't have to accept feeling less than your best as just part of getting older. There might be simple, treatable reasons for how you're feeling. Take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and remember, your best days don't have to be behind you. With the right nutrients and the right care, they might just be ahead of you. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and stay hopeful. Also, leave a comment, like if it was insightful, subscribe, and turn on the notification button